This episode of Super Pulp Science is brought to you by The Dragon Nanny.
Now available at McNally Robinson in Winnipeg. We just restocked.
Attention, citizens. It's time for Super Pulp Science.
This is Super Pulp Science, where we talk about how genre gets made. I am here with my long-suffering co-host, Justin Curry, known the world over as Chasing Artwork. You may also hear the occasional mutterings, scuffings, scutterings, and barkings of Pistachio the studio dog. Joining us today is also
I thought you were describing me. You usually go to me after you say Justin, you usually say my name. So I thought all that was to describe me.
Well, the thing was, Dan, I thought if the dear listener heard all those noises and they're used to me introducing you, they're thinking, what is Dan doing right now? And I was trying to, set it up properly. But Dan Vadeboncoeur is also on our podcast. He is also a little bit scruffy. He's a little bit scruffy. He's a little bit scrappy, but he's extremely loyal. And actually, now that I think of it, you've been to the groomer recently. You've got a nice new haircut.
Oh, no.
No?
No,
it just looks great. You got great hair today. You've got like David Lynch hair.
Thanks. Well, that's a compliment. Thank you. I strive for David Lynch hair. Are you kidding me? He's awesome.
Yeah, he's I mean, I don't know where he gets off being a brilliant filmmaker, an interesting public speaker, and then also having that great hair well into his advanced twilight years. It's not really, doesn't seem like we all got the same amounts of that luck.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I want to rant a little bit today, but before I warm up to that rant, I want to just say that the sun is shining again in Winnipeg, and it feels like hope is in the air. The worldwide numbers are in decline. People are starting to figure out how to plan events again. Prematurely, I believe, yes. Yeah. But it does feel like people are ready for all of this to be over. And I think in that vein, if we imagine that we're going to take all the work we've done this past year and bring it back into the world, we should think about what it's worth and how we decide what it's worth, and not just what to charge for it, but why to charge that for it and when to charge that for it. I think these are useful things to be on people's minds. I had a Zoom call with a group of creatives last night, actually well into the wee hours of the morning. It felt like the first social event I'd had in a long time. It was 2 a.m. and suddenly it was like, oh, wow, we should go to bed. It almost felt like a real gathering. But one of the things we were talking about was all the work we've been doing to save our own lives, just to like combat the boredom, the ennui, the restlessness, the anger, the frustration, the political angst, all that stuff that goes into being an artist and having nowhere to go and nowhere to show it. And then when the shows finally happen again, how so many of us just would be content to just give it all away. Like, we're just so happy that we get to be around people again. It'll be hard to ask for money for things.
I think that people.
Dan, you're making a funny face.
Well, I think the people that will be happy to give you money. Like, I don't think that's going to be an issue. People are being. And I've heard a couple of different news stories about this. They're expecting a big surge of spending and activity after it all passes. Like, people are going to want to go traveling again. People are going to want to go to shows again. They're going to want to see concerts again. All this stuff is going to be happening, and there's going to be a lot of it. So I think I don't think
how much price gouging you think there's going to be?
That's the question, right? So that, I don't know. That's certainly going to happen. Unfortunately, it's kind of part of the nature of the beast or whatever.
So this last week, I have a certain investment I'm part of in America, in the States, and part of that includes me getting like a special little piece of tax form filled out and sent off and filed back. So just because I was doing stuff like that, I just started to get going on my 2020 taxes, because I am notoriously terrible for being late on my taxes, like just getting them all together and sending them off. And to make
Americans
it seem,
who are listening, we have very different laws in Canada.
yeah,
It is not it is technically a crime, but it's not the kind of crime where they show up at your house and seize all your assets immediately and then angrily demand their money. It's a little more civilized. In the end, they have a heavy hammer they can drop on us if we don't pay.
They still
But
get the
it's
money in the
not-
end.
yeah,
They still get the money in the end, but they just charge you a small fine for being a little late here in Canada, if you're a little late.
Is that really what they do in the States?
It's bad, yeah. I mean, people all over. If you're an American listener and you want to clarify this, I'm not like really up on my U.S. tax law. Everything I know is from friends of mine who are in the States panicking about their tax bill and trying to scrape money together because it becomes very litigious, and like a collection agency is after you, but it's your taxes and the government, and there's a lot more fear associated with the tax man in America than in Canada. That's for sure.
when I was younger too, like when I had a real job like a normal person, taxes included me taking one piece of paper into like H&R Block or getting my uncle or family member to put in the one slip of paper into the program, and that being it. But now that I'm running my own business and have multiple streams of income and all these expenses, I have to keep track of all of that. So I have 12 Excel spreadsheets for every month where I'm keeping track of like work expenses and travel expenses, and I pay for my programs, I get to claim that, so it's like 2 full days of like data entry to do my taxes. And that's part of the reason I usually put it off, is because it's 2 days of doing something that is not fun. But anyways, this year I was, it's been kind of looming 2020 because nothing like that. And I was kind of scared to find out what my financial year has been like, just with income and stuff like that. And I was so pleasantly surprised to find out that I was doing just fine with my online store and commissions and freelance. I did well enough that if the lockdown never dissipated, I would be fine. And I can't tell you how much of a relief that was. And just this last week, it felt like, a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders to realize that I was scared to take a look too closely. And now that I've taken a close look at everything and know that I can survive without conventions, it's like opened up my mind to all these possibilities of what life could look like moving forward.
Before anyone who's listening gets all up in arms about us, yes, there's an enormous amount of privilege that comes from being able to say, I'm not totally sure, because as long as I keep moving, my monthly bills are paid. And how it all comes out in the wash, I figure out at tax time. That's one thing that I think is important for us to feel a great relief about. But what you guys don't know about Justin is that from the outside, he's a guy who is constantly planning what the big project is and how to make it work. And I've never seen a person work as hard as this guy round the clock. Hustle culture's got nothing on Justin, I will say that.
Don't you realize that Jeremy's brain was unique? Suppose all those great brains had been allowed to continue their work unhampered by their bodies.
We had for years a system where as long as we were hustling, we could count on a certain measured amount of income every month. And as long as we kept running, kept our feet on the treadmill, it would turn that wheel and, water would come up from the well. During COVID, we had to work just as hard And sometimes you didn't know if it would pay off because so much of freelance is working up front. So those of you who are like, well, how could you not know how it would turn out, is you have to remember that unlike a day job where every 2 weeks a pay stub comes and you know exactly how to budget, in a freelance capacity, you might work 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 7 weeks before you get paid. And you have to chase that invoice and it comes as a lump sum. And then you have to divide it backwards across your living expenses. It's not as clean and easy as those of you who have regular.
Oh yeah, it's a mess. It's feast and famine and little bits here and little bits there. And I don't micromanage that kind of stuff. I just, like you said, I just keep moving and keep doing things, hoping that when I add it up all at the end of the day that I'm going to be okay. And that's what happened. I added it all up and it turns out I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. Tara and I were doing the same thing. Dear listener, Tara is my wife and exceptional life partner. She and I have been doing that for the last little while to just say like, okay, we have to work a lot. Is it helping? Right? Is it making a difference? Is it, right? Are we working smarter or are we just working harder? And we had a similar kind of tally where it was like, okay, we can make this work. This can work. Maybe if society crumbles down in flames around us, we can survive for a little while. That's fine. And then we'll go live in the woods until the ammunition runs out.
I think it's also worth mentioning too that like my okay year of 2020 came from 10 years of hustling at conventions and all those other places. Like boots on the ground kept me going this year, and I think can keep me going. But had I not, spent however many years doing 30 events a year, I don't think I'd be in the position that I'm in today. So it's not like I just, was able to find fresh new clients and fresh new work. I think I just started to really harvest all those seeds that I planted doing the convention circuit for so long.
Let me ask you this. When you were working on all these different projects, how did you decide which ones were okay to just be for you? They would not make, potentially, they wouldn't make any money. Maybe it's a book, maybe it's a print, maybe it's like 3 weeks of designing a piece of artwork that goes nowhere. How do you make that distinction these days? Because we haven't been spending time together in the studio, so I haven't been able to observe that. So I can't reveal all your secrets right now online. You'll have to.
I think just after doing this for so long, there's a certain level of excitement about working on a project and the potential of its like not its product line, but it's the internet's reaction to it. And I think I've just learned to really trust that. Even if I'm unsure, I trust my gut at this point. And so there's a couple big projects coming up that, I just know deep down that they're going to stand on their own two legs. And I think that just comes from small incremental projects like that getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now I can risk a couple months of work on big book projects that, would be considered risky, but now, I think are going to be okay. It's a tough question.
In the dark of the night, when doubt assails you, when fear and worry start to dribble up around you that you've made the wrong choice, how do you push that away? What do you do to...
I think that's always there, regardless of what's going on. I think that always should be there in some degree. You should always be kind of second guessing yourself along the way. There's that, like at the beginning of the project, you are like so fired up about it and so excited, and you have like just the grandest ideas of where this is going to go. And then the first 30% of the project, you're like, am I an idiot for putting time into this? This is so dumb. Like, this is never going to work. And then at a certain point, you start to kind of like reassure yourself that, yes, it's going to work. It's going to work. But up until it's finished, I think you always have some degree of, am I an idiot for spending time on this? This is never going to work.
Yeah, totally. I mean, recently for me, I pitched a project to a publisher that was a surprise to me because, and I mean, I alluded to this maybe on another episode, but this idea that wordless comics could be easier for foreign publishers to license because they don't require translation. From a business standpoint, comics that have no words but tell a strong visual story can cross borders a lot more easily. So I went looking through a large collection of work I had done in the past where there wasn't enough exposition in them to fit what I had viewed as my style as a writer and as a storyteller. And so they had gone into various files and folders and whatnot as just these silent comics that I didn't know really what I'd do with. I felt like they were unfinished, even though when I worked on them, I was like, okay, well, that's the whole story. I don't need to add words. But because people are used to so many words from me, I don't know what to do with these. And then this idea that I talked over with the publisher of these wordless comics, I went through and realized that I could very easily put together a whole collection of these things that I had thought were little orphans. Now they all had a home. And if they had been the kind of project that I had just stopped halfway and said, oh, this is useless, I don't have any place for this, they would still be useless. But because I'd finished each one, I made them small and I made sure that they had a beginning, middle, and end. And when they were done, I could put them away and they were finished. But it means now that I have these beginning, middle, and end stories that are silent that can all fit together in a collection of silent stories. Which on the outside, when the book comes out, it'll seem like a plan, which I always think is really funny. How often you take a book off a shelf and you assume this was the plan all along. But so rarely is it the plan all along. But you must have content finished in order for anything to be done with it. And so present day me was really thanking past me for not giving up in the dark, for not panicking, for not putting it aside, and instead finishing it, even if it was short, only 8 pages here or a 10-page story there or a 5-page story there, because now all put together, I've got a little 100-page book that I can put out. And that is made of that.
Is that why we like is that why we love the making of our early concept work in the back of graphic novels and art books? It's because it's that comforting blanket of, they weren't sure either the entire way. Like, look at the crazy things they were gonna do in the early stages of that, that movie, that game, that book. Like, they had no idea when they started out.
Yeah, and I think I can say with some confidence, Justin, you and I have been, around the world in some regards, meeting lots of people. Nobody has any idea what they're doing.
No.
Right? Like, there isn't a single person that had a clear vision that worked all the way through to the end. It just, that's a myth.
They're both of them working on something very mysterious. Top secret.
I was thinking about this the other day. I was watching a movie on, I think, like Amazon Prime or Netflix about an artist, and I was thinking about artist portrayal in movies, but I think this is true of pretty much any profession. The movie version of that profession is a very twisted view of what it's actually like. And artists in movies, right? They're always like sad and morose, and they can't think of anything. They can't, the ideas aren't coming. And then some big life moment will happen and they'll get their perfect idea and they'll get it down perfectly the first time. And then it's huge success, right? And that's how art in movies works. It's, you're terribly depressed. That one idea magically works out great the first time. And you become a rich, successful artist. And I think growing up, that's kind of the idea I had of how it worked.
Yeah, it poisons people. The idea that the hero's journey and the creative journey are somehow a one-to-one matchup. That is just completely false, but it's how you tell a dynamic story. So you have to frame the person's creative output like that, but I have 4 or 5 projects on the go right now, and 3 of them hoping to see print before the end of 2021. And they've been long, slow roller coasters that seem to lead nowhere, die, and then you come back and take it apart for parts and put it back together into a new machine. And they,
Yeah.
I would long for a hero's journey style story of my own story making, even the best ones, even the ones that start so great.
But like if a documentary crew came and followed you around to make that, they would
they
take
did that one.
Well, yeah, but they would take bits of the one, you making the one book and make it look like it was all one project, whereas it would actually be you working on a million different things. They would just take what worked, what was succinct to make that one story better.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Kind of like, in your cupboard, you have all the ingredients for dinner, right? And so if a documentary crew came to watch you be a chef, they'd watch you prepare dinner, right? But you actually learn how to make those things by making hundreds of dinners that don't taste that great out of the same set of ingredients, and nobody's interested in the ones that are kind of bland, right? Same with your storytelling, right? Those are the ones that don't see print, that don't see publication, but they're all part of the practice of getting better at it. And then figuring out your value. Go ahead.
Which leads us to the value part of our discussion.
Yeah. Speaking of value, NFTs, gentlemen, what do you know?
I've heard it murmured on the internet over the last couple
Sounds
weeks.
like the bad guy in the bad sci-fi movie, to be honest.
It is
You're not a fan. I can tell by your tone, Gregory. You're not a fan of NFTs.
What do you think about my tone about
You're very
Sorry, what does it stand for?
non-fungible tokens?
Sounds like something nasty you pick up in the rainforest.
It is kind of nasty. Okay, so
explain to the dear listeners what an NFT is.
It sounds complicated, but it's very simple. It connects to Bitcoin, right? So the first thing you have to understand is Bitcoin is an internet currency, right? You pay money, you buy a piece of this currency, and you can trade it. It has a value much higher than $1. 1 Bitcoin is often worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So you can buy a percentage. You can buy 0.1 of a Bitcoin, right? So think of it like, any other kind of currency, just for the sake of our argument right now, with one very notable exception that we'll get to. An NFT is when you take a piece of artwork, a digital file, and you mint it using Bitcoin. So it requires you to buy Bitcoin, so then you can mint your artwork according to the value of this Bitcoin. And then you put it up on an open market, almost like a stock market, and people bid on the artwork in Bitcoin. And then you get paid in Bitcoin, which then you convert. Now, if it seems weird that I'm emphasizing the word Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin over and over, that should make you suspicious. It'd be the same as if I said, I have some artwork that you can only buy with Gregory Dollars. Do you know where you get Gregory Dollars, Dan?
From Gregory.
Oh, it's funny you should mention that, Dan. I do have Gregory Dollars. Would you like some Gregory Dollars?
I would rather have Gregory Dollars than Bitcoin, I'll tell you that much.
Because I'll sell you 1 Gregory dollar for 10 Canadian dollars. How's that sound?
How much is a Gregory dollar worth?
It's worth 11, Gregory. It's worth $11. I promise.
Okay.
I promise.
Sounds good. How
Okay,
can I go wrong?
Hey, Justin, that Gregory dollar that you bought for $1, right, is now worth $10 because Dan was foolish enough to get it for $10. Right? That's how the free market works in stocks. Right? Now, hold on. So Gregory Dollars, you've both got some Gregory Dollars now. Yours are worth more than Dan's only because you bought early. All right, Justin, we've
Yeah.
been friends for longer, so you have more Gregory Dollars, and it costs you less to get them than poor Dan, who came in late.
Right.
But
Ask me first.
I've made this wonderful drawing, which I will put on the internet as a JPEG. And I'm going to make it so that I sell you a receipt for this piece of art. And it'll only cost you 100 Gregory Dollars. Do you have any?
So is the
Gregory Dollars
artwork
do you have?
is like those Gregory Dollars now like encoded with that artwork? Are they somehow like
Foolish, Justin,
interlocked?
asking questions about how it works. Just wait. We have to explain how you can make money selling artwork with Gregory Dollars.
Okay.
How many Gregory Dollars do you have, Justin?
Well, if I have 100 because I got in early, and Dan has 10 because he got in late, and we paid the same amount of money,
Right?
right? Okay.
If I'm going to sell you my artwork for 10 Gregory Dollars.
Okay.
Then you're going to sell it to Dan for 100 Gregory Dollars because he's got the bug and he thinks Gregory Dollars are worth a lot. Right? So now you've got some Gregory Dollars and a Gregory NFT. The NFT is a receipt for the image that I showed you, saying that you're the owner of that image. The image can still be copied, still be stored on other places, still exist all over the internet, but you're the only one who holds the receipt. So you can claim that it's yours.
So do you own like the copyright to it, the trademark? Like, is it your
No.
intellectual property now?
No, you just own a receipt.
So is
That's
it
all
the
you-
prestige?
Yes.
Like, is it
You
the?
know what?
I'm
As
so
soon
rich.
as someone sees you with a Gregory NFT worth so many Gregory Dollars, they think that you're real alpha and that you're so much more of a person than someone with less Gregory Dollars. And you know who tells them that?
Gregory.
Gregory does.
Yeah.
Gregory tells them that. And that keeps a free market buying Gregory Dollars so they can buy products with Gregory Dollars so they can claim the Gregory Dollar has value so that the Gregory Dollar does have value, and it goes round and round like a merry-go-round. It's not unlike a pyramid scheme. The only difference is it's a pyramid scheme wrapped inside something that feels to the outsider like the stock market.
I get that part of it, but what does the art have to do with it?
Nothing.
Yeah, I don't-
The way it's like Pokemon.
Okay.
Right? A Pokemon
arbitrary.
card has no inherent value. It has arbitrary value.
Yeah.
It's the difference between what's the word? It's an ascribed value versus an actual value. The ascribed value of a foil Charizard, right, is higher than your little energy token. But they're both cardboard cards worth identical. It's only your
It costs
ascribed
the
value
same
that
amount
makes
of
the value.
they cost the same amount of money to make those two cards, probably.
That's right. The person selling Pokemon cards or Gregory Dollars always comes out on top.
If she were ever to find out about this,
She won't.
So just out of curiosity, like if you wanted to actually make an NFT painting, how much would that cost you as an artist? Like to make one and get it up for bidding or whatever?
So, in the interest of full disclosure to the podcast listener, I am the son of a stockbroker, and I grew up learning all about how trading works and how ascribed and perceived values work in things. All right. I'm no expert in it, but it didn't scare me the way it does scare some people to ask those questions and look into it. So I went looking. I said, okay, this seems like a gold rush. It seems
Right.
too good to be true. Why don't I make some NFTs? What would I have to do that? So it turns out what you have to do first is the red flag. The only way to make an NFT is to buy Bitcoin first. You have to mint it with Bitcoin. So now you have thousands of artists flooding into the Bitcoin market, buying up Bitcoin. Guess what that does to people who already own Bitcoin?
It's a price up.
Makes them
Yeah.
wealthy.
Yep.
So all the people who already own a lot of Bitcoin, guess what they're telling everyone is the next big fad? NFTs. Right.
Ah,
So it is in the stock world, that is called insider trading.
Mhm.
When someone
But
with
it's not the
knowledge
stock
and
world. It's not the stock
That's
world.
right.
So they're allowed to get
It-
away with it.
It's the Wild West out there in the NFT land. Is it illegal? No. Is it stupid? Yes. Right?
So are
Could we
people
make a lot of money quickly? Here's how the math works. About 20% of people could make money from NFTs, which is actually higher than it is, say, if you are investing your money in long-term stocks. So that's true, but it's also extremely volatile. And guess who those 20% are in most cases. They're the people who, of course, bought in Bitcoin years ago, right? So you're hearing all these stories about how NFTs are selling for big money. Those are true stories. They are selling for big money. But if you can get 10,000 people to sign up for $200 today because you sold something else for $20,000 yesterday, and you do that every day, the net benefit to you, the Bitcoin holder, or the Gregory Dollar holder, is always better. It's completely a Ponzi scheme where they're selling things that have no value to people who ascribe a value to a thing they don't actually own. They own the receipt for a thing. They don't.
Yeah, how do you showcase it? Like, how do you brag to people? Like, I saw the very first tweet, a screenshot of the very first tweet on Twitter went for like $2 million on NFT or whatever, right? It's like, okay,
So
cool, but like
the reason why, in my opinion, the fervor is associated with it is that NFTs are not copyable. You can't currently, with any technology, fake it.
right.
So if I take your NFT receipt information and I plug it in, it's verifiable that there's only one and you're the owner. But beyond that, it's the emperor's new clothes.
Right.
And if you'll notice, so many NFTs are people who are not artists just grabbing images and then minting them, memes, other people's tweets, stuff that has what they're calling cultural cachet, right? It is everything that you hate about the gallery system in the big art market, Justin, distilled down to its most vile substance.
So is there a way like we can take advantage of this and sell our artwork to somebody who will make it into an NFT?
See, this is the thing. If it was real, there would be galleries. There would be people who were seeking out real artists and saying, your work would be perfect as an NFT. I'd like to represent you as a NFT gallery. But there aren't. It's just people stealing JPEGs off the internet and then minting them with Bitcoin, so that you will then go and buy some Bitcoin and mint your art and do the same thing.
It would be nice if the value was actually realistic, like it was actually the value of the piece. Like that would be, but even if it's still a JPEG though, like it's like you can actually copy them. So they're literally
no, it's my JPEG.
No, but
you're copying something you don't own.
I just downloaded a JPEG off the internet, no problem.
No, it's mine.
I didn't pay anything for it.
Yeah, that's it. There's the emperor's new clothes, right? Like, what's stopping me from reproducing it, making T-shirts of it, selling it?
In fact, let me tell you something great. That one big one, what the hell is it called? That sold for $60 million at the Christie's auction or whatever, the NFT. You can download from their website a 300 gigabyte file of it. You could print it on the side of a building in full resolution.
Yeah.
And not have paid any money at all. And so what they're hoping is that people will do that. They'll spread the image, spread it all over. And then when people are like, oh, whose is that? You get to say, that's mine. They're trying to monetize memes.
Yeah. That's
a meme gets popular, and then someone says, oh, I'm going to mint that. Right? It is very, to me, very abhorrent. It's the opposite of real value in the art world. Now, I will say, though, in the interest of full disclosure, you and I do a similar thing every day at shows. So this is me calling out myself. I make an image. I spend 5 or 10 hours working on it, maybe sometimes up to a week. Then I take it to a printer and I have them make multiple copies of that same image, which I own and I can prove by receipt, which is what copyright is, that it's mine. And then I take it to a show and I sell it to another person and they hang it on their wall and they say, that's mine. But it isn't theirs. It was never theirs. It's mine. Right? So there is a pre-existing structure for what is going on that you could argue is there's nothing wrong with it. The problem is Gregory Dollars. If
well,
you
yeah,
could
one exists
buy
in the
it,
real world and one is
yeah,
an invisible
if you could
concept.
buy it with any kind of money, then it would exist as a proper commodity. But because you have to buy it with a commodity, the Bitcoin, or in my case, the Gregory dollar, you are not actually trading in a currency.
I don't know why, but this kind of reminds me when the Christian church was, you could buy lots in heaven, and the more you paid, the better your
indulgences.
Yeah,
You're
the better
right.
your heaven would be, you know? And that's all you had was like the bragging rights of like, I own like premium land in heaven because I paid a lot of money for it. And the church validates that with a little piece of paper that says like, this guy gets an awesome lot in heaven.
Yeah, that's right. You paid your alms. You
Dan,
paid your alms.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, my mic cuts out sometimes. Sorry, go ahead, Gregory, with your thing about the alms.
Yeah.
You pay your alms. In the sale of indulgences, what happened was the church was short of money, and they convinced people that you could buy a better place in heaven.
Yeah.
And that really increased their tithing. But it is, of course, no way to prove it, right? I suppose if you want to believe in heaven, that's your prerogative. And if I want to sell you a better place in heaven, that's my prerogative. But I think we can both agree that there's no way for you to come back and say to me, hey, you didn't sell me a better place in heaven. NFTs are like that, yes.
So are people reselling them? Like once I own what is it, that cat with the rainbow tail, the Nyan cat or whatever was a big one. Once I own that, then do I resell it is kind of the idea?
If you have Gregory dollars, you can buy it. I could buy it from you, but only in Gregory dollars. And so if your value has gone up, let's say you buy cat with the rainbow and you buy it for $1,000 and you put it up for auction and people bid up to $10,000 for it. And then you sell, those $10,000 are Gregory dollars. Guess who wins?
Yeah.
Gregory.
He asked me not to call him Mr. Giant anymore. He wants me to call him Daddy.
People accept Bitcoin as money in the real world, do they not? I've heard a few people doing that.
Bitcoin has value. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Bitcoin has no value. What I'm saying is Bitcoin is not a currency. It is a commodity.
Okay. I get you. I got it.
Right? You have to convert it to your currency. Now, some people accept. You can bring me, for example, if you brought me a basket of apples, I'd probably give you one of my art prints for it. I like apples, right? But not everyone accepts apples, right? Or donkeys or cows or whatever it is. And this is why we invented money in the first place. But because not everyone accepts Bitcoin, it's not a currency, right? You have to convert it. And also, its value is so volatile. On an hourly basis, it can go up and down hundreds, if not thousands of dollars.
And yeah, I still can't wrap my head around. So you're sitting in your chair, you're sweaty from the bidding war that just went on, and it's over. You paid $10,000 for a GIF of Kermit the Frog sipping tea, right? You own that.
Yeah.
So you go
it's not easy being green, Justin. It's not
right.
easy.
It's not easy. So you go into like your living room to like proclaim to your family, like, I am the rightful owner of the Kermit sipping tea. And your kid pulls out their phone and goes like, you mean this? Like, I have it too. Like, like, what do you have?
It's the same with the Mona Lisa, you could argue, but yes.
Now, what is the actual, that's what I'm talking about. What is the actual value of the Mona Lisa, right? Because it's a physical, have we talked about this before? I feel like we have. It's a physical painting, right? And you can't take a JPEG of the Mona Lisa. It has no value. Not the only thing that has value
but you
is
could
the painting.
So what's actually of value? Now, this is what's actually of value is the amount of Bitcoin you infuse into that NFT.
Okay.
That's what sets its place in
So
the
it's just
market.
okay. So it's not really the picture, it's how much Bitcoin you just purchased.
Pretty much.
Right.
And the receipt
then,
has a colorful frog on it.
right. Now, as you know, a
Okay.
colorful frog or a Charizard, people see their perceived value is different.
But
If
people
someone
don't
really
see it.
likes
How where do they see it?
There are websites that host your NFTs.
Okay. So
Where you can
those
go
are
and
the
bid.
galleries?
Those are like galleries, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can only get in there by minting your art with Bitcoin.
Okay. Yeah, this it's starting to stink a little.
If you and I want to start a Bitcoin company, maybe we can get in on this, but I don't see it as being now there are plenty of people who will claim that people are making lots of money at it. What they seem to all have in common on the internet is they all have a lot of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I have yet to see too many artists who don't have a lot of Bitcoin claiming that Bitcoin backed art is a good idea. I could be wrong. 10 years from now, when everyone's paying with their Bitcoin debits, I suppose I'll be proven wrong. But as it stands right now, it's very much like the tulip bulbs. Remember? No, of course, nobody remembers. So in the 1630s, tulip bulbs in the Dutch market became super valuable. There was only one place to get these tulips, and so everyone wanted them. And that perceived value meant that the people who sold tulip bulbs got fucking rich. And the people who grew tulips had some tulips. And that's what NFTs are, right? You can tulips, and they got fucking rich. So, right, that's what's going on. In my humble and somewhat uneducated opinion. Now, I did run to when I thought it was a good idea, and I looked at how to do it, and I figured out what it would cost me, and I did some cost-benefit ratio. But the part of me that the alarm bell was like, the only thing here that's of value is the Bitcoin itself. Maybe what I should buy is Bitcoin and tell everyone else to buy art. And then when I went back into Twitter with that idea in my head, I couldn't unsee that that's what most people seem to be doing. People with Bitcoin telling other people they're going to get rich, minting their art as NFT.
And this also opens the doorway to, like, right now it's memes, but man, if you can attach this kind of stuff to Bitcoin, they're going to start doing it with sound clips, you know, like the Christian Bale screaming at like the sound guy. I want that, you know, I want that clip. I want to own that.
I want it to be mine. Yeah.
Right. Like it's just, there's just too many things.
Yeah. And what it is it's the sale of indulgences. It's the tulip bulb. It's ascribed value, no meaning. It's just people with money gambling. You know, I've been to Vegas. I've been in those high roller rooms, not because I was high rolling myself, but because I had a nice enough suit on that they let me in. And I watched people with the turn of a card lose $100,000, $200,000, $500,000. Oh, I haven't even finished half of my complimentary beverage in the time that they've lost $1 million playing cards. It's the same bullshit, right? They're just seeking the thrill that they'll win. Now, that being said, let's make some NFTs. And let's get everyone who listens to Super Pulp Science to bid on them. Make sure you
buy some. Where my mind first went is like, as an artist, how does this stop me from, like, if somebody buys an NFT of my piece, can I no longer print it? Do I no longer own it? Can I no longer reproduce it? But it sounds like none of that. So there really is no damage to, like, I can just carry on doing whatever I want with my artwork, and you just bought the ghost of it online.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
So their art is getting rich on this.
That's right.
Must be kind of, you know, like if...
Actually, that's a wonderful analogy, Justin, because not everyone believes in ghosts.
Right. And won't the poster of that piece that, you know, John Stamos owns the NFT of this for $13 million. I'm going to sell that poster like hotcakes and make money off of it there as well, and make it into t-shirts and put it on keychains. And
totally.
I don't know. Yeah, it does seem very snake oil salesman-ish-esque.
I hear, though, that NFTs do cure rheumatoid arthritis, though. You just rub it on your joints.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know, it's also preying on people. It's not coincidence, pardon me, that the rise of the NFT, the rise of the stock market stuff, all the game stock stuff that went on coincided with stimulus check arrivals. People who suddenly felt like they had a little bit of room to try something that they wouldn't normally try with money they didn't normally have. And some people did very well, but that's not how the stock market works. The stock market doesn't allow everyone to do well all the time. Right? It allows a small amount of people to do well all the time. And the free market economy means it's a different group of small people every day. Whereas when we're at the show floor, we see who's doing well and who isn't, and you can see trends move and flow. Like alternate covers are the NFTs of the comic book world.
That Silver Surfer in silver foil. Wasn't that one of the...
Right.
Yeah.
For me, it was the Spider-Man.
Well, all those things. Anytime a comic...
Sorry.
Yeah, well, all of them, man. I've been participant in that. When we did the Baby Metal book, we did alternate covers. Why? Because some fans will collect them all.
Yeah, some people really...
It's not a gigantic, artistic... Yeah. But it's not an artistic, it's not founded in artistic integrity.
No, but
it's founded in monetary
color, cover?
strategy.
Is it a different image for the cover? Alternate covers?
Yeah, alternate covers are often often that way. And the idea is that you get a popular artist to do your alternate cover. You pay him $1,100 or $2,000 or sometimes way less, and they do your alternate cover. And then you might sell another 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 copies of that book as a result. So if you're the publisher, the person who has all the Gregory dollars, you're the one that wins in the end.
See, I don't mind that so much. What I don't like is when they take, like, for example, the Todd McFarlane one, you guys remember back in the 90s, it was it was the exact same image. It was just the same
silver and gold
image, right? Silver and gold. Yeah. And the silver one, I think, was the more rare one. I had both of them. But I mean,
silver and gold.
There we go.
Right,
Cornelius.
Right.
Is that the guy's name? I don't remember.
Yeah, Cornelius. Yeah, something like that. Is that going to be the clips we have to use?
No.
I want to be a dentist. Shit. How do we get on this rant? It's my fault, right?
Change the subject.
All your fault. Yeah.
Dear listener, if you have bought some NFTs, I guess that's okay. It's your money. You can do what you want. But if you've bought some NFTs of my work, I didn't approve that.
See, is that what's happening? Are people making NFTs out of your work?
Oh yeah. In fact, what's happening, a funny twist, part of me appreciates this, is people who are speaking out really loudly against NFTs. Those tweets are being turned into NFTs by other people.
Well, and then won't the, like, say somebody makes an NFT of your work, do you not have grounds to, like, somebody made money off your copyrighted material? Are
they don't own the copyright? They just own the receipt. They just
Okay.
own the receipt.
They
for
own the
that.
ghost of it. Yeah.
They own the ghost.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a legal loophole because they haven't existed before this year, right? Or maybe
Right.
last year.
I want you to be at the United Nations building with my wife and son.
Hey, maybe we could sell NFTs at the table. What would we call it? What would it really stand for? Not effing trying. Something like that. Right? You can buy my NFTs, my not fucking tryings of this artwork for $100, or you can buy the regular print for $20.
You should.
Why don't
What's
they
the
buy
difference?
the deed
Absolutely
to it?
nothing.
What you should do
What's that?
is make it an actual ghost of your image. So whatever, if it's a an image from a dragon Annie or something, you make it like a ghost of the dragon. You can make it everything.
Now we're talking.
is ghosts. So it literally.
Now,
is
if there's somebody listening to this, one of our dear listeners who's really deep into the Bitcoin world, who thinks that I've grossly misrepresented this, reach out to us and come be a guest. Come set us
I
straight.
don't think you're misrepresenting Bitcoin. Because I think we all understand what Bitcoin is, but I think you're right in that a lot of people confuse it with a currency. People do think that it's a currency, and it's not. It's like gold. Gold isn't a currency, right? Gold is a commodity. Right. It's something that, even though you can buy things with gold, right? You can. I'm sure there's people who would still accept it.
But not everyone accepts gold.
Exactly.
Right? I make jokes in all of my publisher meetings that I'll take money or I will take gold doubloons buried by the oak tree in the moonlight and the farthest acre of my property. So far, no one's taken me up on the second one, though I would accept it.
Maybe I'll take you on that one day.
I always thought it would be cool, like along these lines, to like sell at a convention a USB with the last working file of a digital painting. Comes with a piece of paper. Legally, like saying that you've deleted all copies of this digital painting from your computer. So the only native file, the only working file of this PSD painting now exists on that flash drive. And you could like put it in a cool frame with like a little plaque or something.
You would have to do that,
right?
You have to make
and that would be kind of cool. I don't know what people would do with it, but that's kind of neat to like own.
A bunch of copies of it.
They can make a bunch of copies.
But can't they make a copy anyway? Anyone with a good scanner can scan any of our art and make copies.
Well, that's why you have the native file, like the actual working file.
Like for a piece that was done digitally, you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with layers and stuff, yeah.
It only worked for digital. You know what? Actually, there's some value in that for your files, Justin, because vector scales.
It's true.
Right? Because I'm working in pixels and not vectors, my art can't be scaled up to building size, but yours can. My whole life is a lie. I'm just a ghost compared to your work, right? Interesting.
You have to sell your brushes. That's the big thing for digital painters is they sell brush packs.
Yeah, they do sell brush packs.
Until Adobe picks them up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's interesting, right? Because everyone wants to get rich quick. And I find that the more people argue to justify why it's okay, it's almost guaranteed that it's not okay. And there's a lot of hot air being blown into the sails of NFTs are great.
There doesn't seem to be any hard work involved either, which makes me suspicious. When nobody has to work for it,
Oh, but you need to have money. And money is inherently is stored labor. So someone worked for it once.
When before the Apple App Store had much regulation, there was that I'm Rich app. It was like a $2,000 app, and all it did was say I'm rich. And it was up on the App Store for you're potty mouth this episode, but
I don't know what it is. NFTs
was up on the store long enough to sell it just took one half celebrity to buy it before everybody was like, oh, I got to get the I'm Rich app just to flaunt it. It was eventually taken down, but this this feels similar.
Yeah, that is similar. I mean, it's like anything. It's like a super fancy car that you're not allowed to drive fast, right? Like I think you can make a strong argument to say that those very expensive cars are incredible feats of engineering, like incredible. But you, as the owner of it, never actually get to use it the way it's intended, or designed, I should say, not intended, because it's intended to attract you to buy it for an enormous amount of money. But you can actually never do what it's designed to do. And so actually, does it have the value that you ascribe to it? No, it's just imaginary. We could get real esoteric here because money ultimately is just imaginary too. Right? Because it used to be based on gold and it used to be based on labor, right? But now you can just have the mint make more of it. Oh, we're running a deficit. Don't worry. We'll just add a few more $1 trillion into the economy.
Let's talk about something fun to finish the podcast off on. Something uplifting. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have but all of my good news is all vague news. Like I have
all vague news.
Yeah, one publisher for one project has just signed a major deal with a worldwide distributor, and I'm meeting with them on Tuesday, virtually, to discuss what that means for the book that I'm doing with them.
Okay, so what
I don't have any high hope.
That statement you just made, when you can reveal all those details, I'm going to take that statement and I'm gonna sub in all the actual names of the things.
Amazing. Yeah,
so we can actually, because you can't say, yeah, but we will be able to find out eventually, right?
Yes, hopefully sooner than later. And then the other publisher I was talking to is going to get back to me about that silent comic. And then also some big news on the role-playing game I've been designing front. So like there's been a lot of fun stuff, but all of it is, it's tenuous at best. And right now it's all dreams and promises. So I have to see it come to fruition. One really good piece of news, Justin, that I'll say you shared with me, we completely sold out of Dragon Nanny at our local favorite bookseller, McNally Robertson, and had to restock. And
in less than a month, and with no promotion of any kind. I just dropped off books, and before I could post that they were there, they were sold out.
So we're restocking, and we're going to promote a little bit, but it just goes to show that a book that would never have existed the way it does now, if not for the pandemic, kind of achieved its final form as a physical object that you can own, ladies and gentlemen. Not just the receipt, but the object itself.
But how much Bitcoin is it worth?
This is a good question. Should we mint the PDF of? I don't think you can do PDFs. You'd have to do every page. Can we do NFTs of all of Dragon Nanny?
See, I want to try my fancy USB thing. I want to find a really cool USB, like a really cool looking one, and put it in a frame. And put in like an old painting on it and delete all the files of it and explain that's what it is and put it up for bidding and see what happens. As a digital artist, that gets me more excited than
I'm sure
this NFT thing.
You've got older pieces that you feel.
Oh yeah, you have pieces. Not lots.
But isn't it just like the way that people used to sell book cards, like digital books? You had those like plastic cards and people would sell you their novel as a plastic card instead of as a book.
I don't remember that.
And the technology, so you don't even know what I'm talking about because the technology died and now there's no way to use those things anymore. After a few years, technology iterates at such a rate that your USB idea, they were just like download cards or whatever for books.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, they did that for books. Okay.
Right?
I've done that for like music and stuff like that. Like you used to get that at Starbucks all the time, a little download card for a song or whatever.
Yeah, the key word here, I believe, is used to.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Right? And so technology moves at such a pace that I'm sure there's a lot of things that will one day be how it used to be. So your physical object, though, your print itself, telling people that it's the last one because you've destroyed the file, I think is more valuable than giving them the file.
That is why I like numbering prints when I do limited runs. It does feel like a I'm a step towards being a real artist when I have a limited run of prints, right? It's just not printing forever for all eternity.
Yeah, right. Well, it's a scarcity principle kicks in, right? People think that if they have one of an item that is limited, that they're more special. Really, you sell specialness when you number things.
Yeah, I like that.
It's I don't know, it's problematic sometimes though. I mean, the real way to be an entrepreneur is not to philosophize ever, just go after the money. The unfortunate thing is I think I have it might be a little smidgen of a conscience once in a while. I'm not sure. I'll have it checked out. I'm sure a doctor can let me know.
I gotta go to a doctor about that, I was gonna say. All right.
Right. But if it grows, it could cause me problems.
Uh-oh.
Right? You wouldn't want your conscience to grow too big because it can cause a lot of trouble with your willingness to exploit people for money, which, you know, I thought we were going to go happy. Now we ended up down here again. Is it my fault?
No, it's okay. We got to wrap it up, though. We're at an hour.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, this has been Super Pulp Science, where we talk about how genre gets made, how NFTs are probably the tulip bulbs of our new generation. Look that up on the internet. It'll be fun. I'm your host, Gregory Dollars, reminding you to join the fight, make art, and keep your receipts.